Let's try this again. Tyler, you're in the studio. You're in the studio. Let's see if I can hear you now in the studio.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you on the cell. I'm trying to add you to the stream.
Okay.
Um, let's see if you can go out and I'm gonna bring you back in.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So,
You want me to log out?
uh-huh. So,
Okay.
yep.
I'll log.
Tyler is going to try to come back in because I think I realized what happened.
Okay.
I think it's a technical issue with the operator who happens to be Shenita Connolly. So with that being said, we're going to start this all over again. So Tyler, let's see if you can come back in.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I think it was an operator error. So you guys may not have been able to hear anything I just said. So let's fast forward or rewind. I'm sorry. Let's rewind. So this evening's show is about gratitude. And why is it important to have a grateful heart? There are many reasons. Gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Having a heart of gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve your health. You're able to deal with adversity better and you build stronger relationships. There are many benefits to being grateful. And one of them is it lessens anxiety, it supports heart health, releases stress, improves sleep, reduces depression. So there are some benefits to having a grateful heart. So with that being said, I think my guests will be able to hear me. Tyler, can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you now. I
So
sure.
it was an operator error. So thank you
All
for
right.
bearing with me while I work through the
All right.
challenges. So I am so glad to have you here with me this evening to talk about this word that means so much to me. And I know it means, just as much, if not more, to you because you titled either your album or your song Gratitude.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about first Tyler Scott Owens, the man. Let's talk about who you are. Can you share with us just who you are? Introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, I'm Tyler Scott Owens, and we just actually finished a rehearsal. We're here at my studio, where the band just finished the rehearsal for a performance we have coming up. But I am a lover of God. I'm a father.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm the son to a mother that I'm still blessed to have. I'm a brother in a family of brothers and sisters. Member of the community, actually worldwide, because I've lived in several places. And I've got friends all over the globe. And I am a musician, a songwriter, an actor, screenplay writer, and playwright. And so just kind of an all around artist. And it's such a pleasure to be asked to be on this broadcast with Dr. Shenita. And I'm humbled by it and really glad that you asked me to come on.
Yes, I am. I'm so grateful. I listened to your song. I've watched your posts, so I kind of feel the essence of who you are. So it really resonated with me because I live with a grateful heart on a daily basis, and I think it's so important. So that really resonated with me when I saw your album. Is it the album or the song?
It's the album. It's a 9 song collection of original music that was birthed out of my personal life and the great friendship I have with my producer, Curtis Kendrick, and our 40-year association as musicians and friends.
Wow, 40 years, really,
40.
Tyler?
Yeah.
You couldn't be more than 40.
Oh, go on now. I'll be 60 actually in November.
And I'll be 60 next year. You know, we age gracefully, don't we?
That's right. That's right. We
Oh,
do.
we do. We do.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Uh,
Kudos to you.
yeah, thank you on your journey. And
Thank
so
you.
let's talk about I had some questions for you, and I just want us to kind of go into. I know you say you are a father, you are a son. You truly are blessed, and I'm sure you're so grateful to still have your mother. I know my mother passed away in 2001, and father passed in 2008. So to not have parents is, it's a lonely place, and so you are truly blessed to have your parents. So
Yeah. I
that's
lost my dad in 2017, and
ah
an awesome man. And I was really blessed to have him as my father.
yes, that's grateful. So let's talk about, how did you arrive at this place called gratitude? Let's kind of talk about it.
Well, my story is interesting in so much as I was raised in the church. My maternal grandparents were really church going people, where my paternal grandparents were not so much. Um, but they were wonderful people as well.
Hmm.
But totally different types of family. And my dad's family is really tight knit. My mom's side, that was the church going side, not quite as much. The nuclear family was very tight. And as an extension of the nuclear family, when I came along uh, with my mom and dad, and then my mom and dad breaking up when I was about four, I was raised largely by my grandparents and my mom. But I also had a close relationship with my father's family as well.
Hmm.
So I had two divergent um, types of orientation. And early on, post high school, and even in high school, I started making some wrong choices, and um, and not having a full understanding of myself or the ramifications of those choices. Made some major. I hate to say the word mistakes, but I put myself through some trials.
I understand.
Yeah,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah. But what has buoyed me through every trial and every difficulty and every obstacle has been that grounding, that faith centered grounding that has kept me and has given me a perspective on life that I've continued to nurture, because that was a starting point, but I've gone beyond that in terms of continuing to matriculate, to understand my life and my spirituality, and try to understand and draw closer to God. Um, that's a lifelong journey, and it's still evolving.
Hmm.
But that gives me a peace, that gives me a security, that gives me a confidence, that gives me a degree of fearlessness and a perspective that is different than I feel that many people in the world have.
Yes. Yes. I can see that. Um, because a lot of times, if you're not raised in a certain environment or a certain way, you're not going to embrace these important characteristic traits, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And so it shapes us, even as you said, even through the mistakes that we um, go through. It really does shape us, and it'll bring us back, right, from the
Sure.
foundation.
Sure. I think that many of the experiences, which is another word for that helps to couch more clearly the word mistakes, many of the experiences I think have actually helped me to understand my purpose in living and
Mm,
my purpose in life, and has given me an empathy for people who make and or are in danger of or have made those same mistakes. I find myself at this point, at 59 years old, mentoring a lot of young men, um, particularly young men of color, but young men that I come in contact with from all walks of races, and backgrounds. I've been mentoring a lot of young men in their 30s and 40s, and sometimes in their 20s,
Mhm.
and am kind of a father figure, a surrogate father figure for a lot of young men and some young ladies as well.
Yes, yes, that's a blessing because we can never have enough people who help to shape us.
Mhm. No, no,
And
we
go
can't.
ahead, Tyler.
I've been
Mhm,
by some phenomenal people.
mhm,
So many great people have touched my life. Minister Franklin Florence, who is a civil rights leader of note in the Rochester, New York area.
mhm,
And he was kind of a father figure to me as well.
mhm,
He's my sister's father. And
mhm,
so
mhm,
I had the benefit of close proximity to him. And he nurtured me and loved me like I was one of his sons.
mhm,
We lost him in February.
mm.
Um, and the list goes on and on and on. I could name drop, but I won't do that.
Right,
I've been blessed to be nurtured by some great men that if I mentioned their names, you would know them.
right.
So I've just really, really been blessed and favored,
Yes.
and I think I'm responsible for carrying on that legacy and fostering that in the lives of other young people.
Yeah, it's almost like we're passing the torch.
Yeah,
They pass the torch to you, you're carrying it on, and you're hoping to instill these same qualities and traits in the young people, and they will pay it forward also
I
along the
feel
way.
that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
feel that, and it it's such a blessing, and it helps me to wake up all the more with a sense of purpose and a sense of um, direction, and also a sense of urgency, because tomorrow is not promised to us. And we have to, in the redemption of some of the quote unquote mistakes, or the reframing of some of the experiences, we have to redeem time and allow God to redeem that time, and make those times, those situations, those struggles, that crucible worthwhile, and able to give God glory and to benefit people around you.
Absolutely. And when I think about being grateful, um, I think you may know, or some of the audience knows that, I'm a widow. And so I
Mm,
didn't have my second husband for a long period of time. But guess what? The time that I did have him for almost 6 years total, almost four married, were the best years of my life in terms of a relationship. So
yeah.
I hold that, and I'm so grateful that I
Yes.
got to experience that. Although the first marriage didn't work,
Hmm.
20 years later, 22, between 20 and 22 years later, God blessed me with the second husband. So I don't focus on the loss as much as I do the time that we spent,
Sure.
right?
Sure. And I find myself, we were just having this conversation, and some of the folks in the group, they're still out in the other room
Mhm.
talking. I mean, we're such a beautiful family. I
Oh,
just
I
love
wish I could be there.
I love the people that I work with.
Yes.
Love them. They're my family. But
Mhm.
um, so many people in the world today don't even believe in love anymore. They have become so pessimistic,
Yep.
and are suffering from a multiplicity of types of damaging, and they are at a point where their ability to believe has been compromised.
Yes.
And this is the world that we're living in right now, and it's so important that people who have walked a journey that has reaffirmed the validity of love, and the necessity for it, and the necessity for living in good conscience and for treating people the way that you want to be treated yourself. Folks who have walked that walk, we are so needed in this world because the world is in a very dangerous, desperately faithless state,
Woo!
right?
Yes, Lord.
And
Mm.
so I am a firm believer that Christ was lifted up from the earth so that we would become Christ in the earth.
To carry out.
Yes, yes. And so our job is to be salt and light. Uh,
Ooh. Can you
place,
say that again? I need you to say that again
yeah.
because I don't, and it explain that because sometimes people don't understand salt and light. Can
Um,
you?
I could, I could go into so many tributaries of that thought pattern, from physics itself, to the spiritual reality that governs all physical properties and all physical existence and all physical manifestations. But salt and light, what I mean by that is we're living in a tasteless world, and we use salt to enhance the flavor of the things that we digest. And we are supposed to enhance the environment around us. We are supposed to heighten the, we're supposed to help bring out the flavor of it. And we're supposed to come into a very dark world in terms of understanding, in terms of compassion, in terms of just seeing other people, and being compassionate about other people, and caring about other people. We're living in a dark time, and we're supposed to be light that helps people to see others and indeed see themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I could not have said that any better. And when you mentioned that people are losing faith in relationships, in love based on hurt or past relationships, I was just thinking about my circle and the people who I talk to who are in those places. They've not taken the time to deal with the pain
Right.
so that they can assess what it is that you do desire in a relationship so that when it comes, and when it isn't, you know, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if write
Right.
it down, make it plain so that you can navigate through the opportunities of meeting people and not get caught up in all of them. It's almost like we have to think about it like a process of elimination, like you're interviewing for a job or position. Who is going to fit the position best? And
Sure.
so you have to know something about them in order to be with the right person that God has for you. Of course, we want to talk to him about it too. But you're right. So many people have lost that. So they've lost that thought. They've lost that desire um, to be in a wholesome relationship. But I'm hoping that we can share something tonight that will cause people to be, one, grateful for their lives, grateful for the journey, grateful for the experiences, as you mentioned, that are
Hmm.
going to help us move forward in life to find the path that God has for us, right?
Yeah, and I think part of the issue with the world is that we become so consumed with the lives of others, and we become engulfed in a cult of personality where celebrities and television and social media and all that drives our wants and
Mhm,
desires,
mhm.
so that we're manipulated into thinking that our lives of necessity have to look like someone else's. It's just patently false. It's not true at all.
It's not
um,
true.
the apostle Paul didn't get married.
Mhm. Mhm.
and he had a reason for not seeking that. And so knowing your own self and being comfortable in your own skin and loving yourself and accepting yourself unconditionally is important, because if you don't have that, you can't bring that into relationship. You can't live in accordance with that.
Yes.
And so I think that at the fundamental basics for us individually and us collectively is we got to come to a place where we're willing to see ourselves in our faults and in our beauty, in our need, and in what we offer, what
Woo.
we can potentially offer. Because one of the other problems in the world today is everybody is all about me, 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 and give me, give me, give me, give me, and I want, I want, I want. And I'm a firm believer that the first thing that is wrong in the world is selfishness,
Mm.
self-centeredness. And if we are self-centered and selfish, by definition, we bring that into relationships.
Oh, yep.
And we wonder why our relationships falter and why we can't communicate and why we are quickly driven apart is because we're fundamentally selfish.
Yes. And
Um,
I was just sitting here thinking about that. So when we think of relationships or being in a relationship with someone, and you bring something to the table in hopes that the other person brings something to the table, collectively, what is it that we as a couple will do as a couple? And then what is it that I can do for you? What is it that you can do for me to help me elevate to the purpose that God has for me?
right,
A lot of people don't think about that
right.
because can we be an asset to each other?
I even years ago, I was coming out of a time where I was suffering in depression. And I was in my 40s before I even knew and was diagnosed with depression. And but I was coming out of a really dark time, and the Lord gave me a revelation about friendship. And I want to share that with you and the viewers now. And because the revelation is of God, and I really believe that it helped me to understand what friendship is. A friend is someone who sees you in many ways the way that God sees you. The person sees you clearly in your potential and in your lack, sees you in your faults, and feels compelled, despite your faults and despite your mistakes and despite your stumbles and despite your trials and despite your potential, that person feels compelled to continue to walk with you in fidelity, to help you to realize the potential that God has placed in you, because that person understands that you have something to offer the world. And so they offer themselves to help you get there. And prayerfully, um, this is how it works, is that we see people that are called to be our friends and we want to do the same thing for them. That we see each other, we're not fooled, we're not deluded. We know, and we've been transparent enough to be honest with one another about our scars, about our struggles, about
Mm.
where we are in life. Because if you don't know where I am, you can't pray for me.
Absolutely.
And so I think that once you make that distinction about who those people are who are going to walk with you
Mm.
no matter what, then you're able to differentiate friends from associates,
Yes.
and differentiate friend associates from acquaintances.
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
different levels to all,
Yes.
but there's friends, there's associates, and there's acquaintances.
Hmm.
You got to be clear about that. And
Yes.
um so anyway, that was a revelation that I received, and I just wanted to share.
And can I piggyback off that? Because I think it's very important that we relate things that people can can see, right?
Sure.
And so when my deceased husband wife passed in 2009, we didn't know each other personally. We knew each other professionally.
Mm-hmm.
As a colleague in the community, I reached out to provide food to the family because that's just who I am, right? From my organization to theirs. We
Sure.
developed a friendship as a result of that. And he was in a very dark place after losing his wife of 22 years and 24 years together. And I remember the friendship was solid. I remember him sharing things with me that I was like, wow, why is he sharing that with me? He felt so comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with me that he was able to be vulnerable. And I remember helping him. When you describe friend,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have much of anything, Tyler, at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't looking for a companion. I was trying to be a friend.
Right.
There were things that I could recommend to him that he did that could help reduce his expenses in his home. I did. There were things that I could recommend and encourage him to get back into the workforce so that he could start generating income so that he can get back to some normalcy. I did.
Mm-hmm.
There were other things that I was able to do to help him once the relationship moved into marriage. He wanted to start his catering business. And I reached out to caterers that I knew and said, would you mentor him? Would you walk alongside and mentor him? Because that's a desire. They did. And before he passed away, he was able to see that desire become a reality. And that's when you really explain that friendship. I could honestly say we were friends before we were lovers, and I saw him at the bottom and was able to help him get to the top before his life ended. And so I always say, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to plant seeds and to walk with the man. It didn't matter that I was in the background making the sides for the catering part, because if he won, I won. So I
Sure.
understood that. So it was no need. I was never in competition with him because he's my man. And I am going to make sure that whatever it is he's trying to do, I got you, boo,
Mm.
in the background.
You
I
were
got
a
you.
phenomenal helpmate. You know,
Yes.
I think don't get me started talking about that. I mean, just in relationship, um, like I was describing, we are when we're called, and I think that's an office. When we're called to be in relationship, there should be in us an innate sense of wanting to provide equity and balance. And of course, things aren't always balanced, things aren't always 50-50, but we should be endeavoring to sow into those that we're called to be in relationship as they sow into us so that we can go from glory to glory and faith to faith.
Oh, thank you. And I mentioned earlier that I work with widows and widowers. And so this week, one of my widows had a need, financial need. And I reached out to several of the tribe and I texted them and I said, hey, this person is in need of XYZ. I would like for all of us, if we're able, to do ABC to help her reach her goal. And guess what? We did. And
Yeah,
so those are the kinds of things to me that matter in this life, because it doesn't matter if I have $1 million in the bank. When I leave, I don't know nothing about that million anymore, right? It'll be left to
right.
my kids or grandkids. So I want to be able to make an impact and people to say, man, I'm grateful that she passed through my life, or I'm grateful that I met her on this journey. She's been a blessing to me. That's what I want people to say to me now so I can hear it, not when I'm laying in a casket, right? I want them to be full of gratitude.
Right. Do you mind if I introduce you to some of my tribe right quick?
No, I don't. Absolutely. It
Okay.
would be
All right.
wonderful.
Hey, you guys. I had to brag on y'all. So I, the album Gratitude never would have happened without this guy right here. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. Bless.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm here with this guy trying to make it happen. He drags me out,
It seems like y'all are making it happen.
We have to.
That's right. That's
I
right.
I have to drag him through the mud to make it happen,
I love it. Look, at
Yeah,
least
my
he's
man.
willing to be drugged, right?
That's right.
Curtis Kendrick, uh,
Curtis.
well-known producer, songwriter, drummer extraordinaire, now vocalist,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
multi-instrumental, and has produced
I'm gonna give you a check later. Keep going.
20 plus albums that I know of, and one of my closest brothers.
I
And
love it. Nice
Darnell,
to meet you.
this is Darnell. Darnell and I have been working together
Hey,
for,
Darnell.
since 1986.
Wow.
So yeah, tremendous percussionist, vocalist, and business owner. It's my brother.
Awesome. Awesome. Nice to meet you.
And the latest addition to our family is Tycee
Hey,
Hughes. And
how are
yeah,
you?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
You
yeah.
too. And I'm glad to see a female rocking with the fellas.
Oh yeah, she rocking with the fellas, no
I
doubt.
love it.
No doubt. No, she makes us look good, you know.
I love it. Nice to meet you. Yes, indeed. We rock.
Phenomenally talented young vocalist, and you're just an awesome lady. And we're blessed to have her in the family as well. So just wanted to introduce you to them,
Yes.
part of my tribe and stuff. I'm gonna
Yes.
step back here and let them keep kicking it since we only
And
got two left.
you know, Tyler, I know it's probably not possible for you to sing a little bit of gratitude, but it would be awesome if you could sing a little bit of and tell the people what, a little bit of what inspired gratitude and where you're going with it, where they can get it, all of that.
Well, the album concept, Gratitude, was, of course, just like I said, it was born out of my life experiences. And one of the songs, I Believe in You, and I wrote that for some of my mentees and my children. And I believe in you. I'm not going to sing it for you, but the lyrics go, don't get it twisted. Don't confuse the meaning of it. So many have missed it and life has passed them by.
Mm,
No,
that's
don't you
deep.
dare waste it. Trapped inside your doubts and fears. It's time that you faced it. Um,
I love it.
and so,
Yes, that's deep.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
So
real. And it's real.
it is. It is.
I
'Cause I've
hear
lived.
that.
Yeah, I've lived it. And I was, as I was giving this to my loved ones, it's because it's what I had to give myself in order to come out of some of the places that I found myself in.
Those dark places, right?
I had to find it. And just sharing with you how I discovered at the age of 41 that I suffered with depression, and how from that moment forward it has helped me to manage it and to overcome it. I was back in the days when we had landing pages, when we get on the internet and stuff. I had Yahoo was my landing page.
Right.
And so I got up one morning before work, and I pulled up my landing page, and there was an article on there that asked the question, are you depressed?
Mm.
And so I said, wow, let me read this article. And then at the end of the article, it had 20 questions that were a measure and a rubric that helps you and help them determine whether or not you suffer from depression. There's 20 questions, and the higher your score was, the more likely that you suffer from depression. Well, I took all the questions, and when I flipped over the page and got the key, I had 18 out of the 20 indicators.
Wow.
And the lights went off in my head. Rather than be depressed or downcast about that finding, it helped to make so many of the things that I had been through make sense, because I used to think I was crazy. I used to think there was really something wrong with me, and that I was just of low character, and there was no hope for me. But no, there was a chemical imbalance that was
Yes.
going on in me
Yes.
that I didn't understand. And then
Mm.
to find out that many of the men in particular in my family had suffered from the same thing. And then in a wider context, more study has revealed that, and statistics undergird this declaration. But we as African Americans have suffered through so much trauma in America, and it is not unusual for us to suffer from PTSD and different forms of psychological encumberment.
Mhm.
And so all of those things came into clearer view, and I gained a greater understanding of myself from that point forward. I, I I learned and acquired the tools to help to manage, so I no longer have to go to, at this point, and this isn't true for everybody, but I no longer have to go to counseling, which is fine too. If you need counseling, uh,
Get it. That's
get
right.
get it.
I'm a proponent of therapy. Get
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yes.
And so over time, I was able to utilize those tools
Mhm.
that my therapist, and because there were several, helped me to acquire, and therefrom I've been able to grow in my ability to manage and overcome, um,
Yes, Lord.
live in
That's
victory despite of that challenge.
yes.
And so,
And when we think of PTSD, we think of the military, right? And it's not necessarily the military that you have to be a part of to suffer from PTSD. As
no,
you mentioned, we go through so much trauma, and the trauma from it affects us in many different ways. I think for me, my first marriage was so devastating because I was so young when I got married the first time. It took me into a spiral. And so I wasn't dealing with my weight, right? And so here I am finally dealing with the weight issue so that I can be a better version of myself and live a longer, healthier life on
hmm
purpose,
yes, yeah,
right? And
yeah,
so it affects people differently. It may not be food for someone, it may be alcohol, it may be drugs, it may be sex, it may be other
all the
things.
above.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah,
so we have to be willing to deal with our demons, per se, if we want to use that term, deal with it and get the help that we need.
hmm
You know what I mean? Someone
yeah.
said, real talk, post physical trauma, there's mental trauma. Yes. Yes, it comes along as a result of if you've had some physical trauma in your life and it's going to affect you mentally.
They're married together.
Yes.
They're married
Yes.
together.
Yes. And so we have to be the light. And I think that we are the salt and the light. I love how you describe that salt to enhance flavor and light to exhume, light in the darkness. Try to rid darkness. Be the light in someone's life, our own lives, someone that we come in contact with, whether it's at work or home, play. Be the light, you know,
Exactly.
to this dark world because it is definitely dark.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Ooh,
There are so many challenges, but I've changed the way that I see these things because, without getting trying to get too deep, because I really, it's not necessary. I think that we have to be very careful because um, God spoke the world into existence, and we speak our world into existence all the time. You have what you say. You don't always have what you believe. You have what you say. And so we're all the time we're spelling. You just think about the word spelling. We're always casting spells, with our mouths, and we got to be very careful
for what we say.
with our
Mm,
words because we create our reality with the words
mm.
that we utilize. And so I've come to the place where I see opportunity everywhere.
I love it.
Everywhere that I look, the only thing I see is opportunity, no matter how bad it is, quote unquote, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how dark it is, I see opportunity there because it can be better.
That's right.
And I can make a choice, to, and not every battle is my battle, but where I am led and where I am equipped,
Mhm.
um, I love to try and change the atmosphere, the environment, and at least sow seeds of hope
Yes. Yes.
wherever I go.
Hmm.
Ability.
And you're definitely doing that because, as I said, your page and your post and your messages resonated with me. And so, and I know, and this is just how I feel. I feel if something is good for me, it is good to share for others. And so that's just who I am. I truly believe sharing is caring, right?
It is.
So we certainly can't just keep it all to ourselves and for ourselves. I think it is, we are all out here for a reason. Somebody needs you. Somebody needs to be connected to your page and to your music to help them on their journey from this day forward who may be new to Tyler Scott Owens, right?
Right.
So who am I to keep that to myself? So that's why when I see people and God leads me to say something to them because I feel a connection, I just move forward. I don't even have fear.
Hmm.
They can only say yes or no. I'm gonna follow my gut, my directive from God, and most of the time, if not all of the time, it works out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm grateful that you said yes. I'm grateful that your music is coming out. I can now say I'm a promoter of concerts, right? I don't know if you know that. But did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So I hosted my first jazz concert on July 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia at Spivey Hall.
Okay.
And so I can now add promoter to my list of things that God has blessed me with. I call them gifts because he has blessed me with multiple gifts, and I'm just grateful for them. So, I was thinking about your music, and we'll get
Bring
to
us
talk
to Atlanta.
offline.
Bring us to Atlanta. We're ready to come and turn it
Right,
out. Come
right.
bring us to, hey, I
Yeah.
lived 20 plus years.
You lived in Atlanta for 20 plus?
I sure did.
Okay, okay.
I love Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta, I got so many loved ones in Atlanta, man. I mean, just again, I could name drop, but I'm not going
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful people,
Yes, yes,
every walk of life,
yes,
from civil rights to music to art to dance to you name it, um,
yes.
government, um, just every endeavor you can think of. Just wonderful, wonderful, groundbreaking um, atmosphere, charging and changing people. You know,
Yes,
Atlanta's a wonderful place.
it really is. And I'm grateful to be here for 20 plus years. And it's been a blessing for me. And so I moved here in 1996 after the Olympics, and I don't have any regrets.
I was there in '96. I was working at Lenox Square Mall.
Lennox looks different today.
I
But
bet it.
yes, different today, but I still love going over there. But
Okay.
um I know we have enjoyed this conversation, and I kind of forgot all the questions that I was supposed to ask you, but everything that was supposed to be said has been said. And I know as we prepare to, kind of close, I want us to kind of talk about what's next for you.
Well, I'm actually in a phenomenal production that is going to take place here in Rochester, New York, on the 24th and 25th of this month. It's called Mr. Soul, and it's about a character, a real life person by the name of Ellis Hayslip, who was the host and producer of a groundbreaking show in the late 60s and early 70s called Soul, with an exclamation point at the end of Soul.
Mm.
Ran for 5 years on public broadcasting and was unapologetically Black. And at some juncture and many junctures along the way, they just couldn't get the funding that they needed to stay on the air. But people like Stan Lathan, who is Sanaa Lathan's dad,
Mm-hmm.
long time television and movie person in LA. He was responsible for the production of it, and
Wow.
phenomenal people like Anna Horsford, who was on the show Amen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was one of the producers, and
Wow.
so many other just powerful people were producers on that show. And so we're celebrating that legacy in a play that was written by my friend Laura Thomas. And I'm just blessed to be a part of that cast, very great cast. And we'll be putting that on the 24th and 25th. On the 19th, my band is playing at the Webster Jazz Festival here in upstate New York. And I play with a great band called Atlas as well. So I'm really busy. And I
Yeah.
own a moving company too. So
So, so for you to take time for me tonight in the audience, I'm just grateful.
yeah, it's just, I'm grateful. Um, I'm humbled that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
just thank God for you, and I thank God for what you're doing. I thank God for your life. I pray God's phenomenal, unqualified, unmetered blessing on you. And I pray that everything that you touch prospers. And I pray that those who view your broadcast and listen to your podcast, that they are blessed as a result of it. And if they would just ingest some of the things that you talk about and take some of these things to heart, I know that their lives will be enhanced.
Thank you. Oh, ditto to you and all that you do as well. I appreciate the blessings, and I just have a desire to see all of us walk in the calling that God has on our life confidently, because no one would have been able to tell me last year that I would have been a promoter of a show at a concert hall on Clayton State University campus with three amazing artists.
Wow.
And the people walked away saying, now that was an experience. And that was my desire, is that everyone walked away and said, now that was an experience.
Oh,
Because it's not about me. It's about enhancing people's lives. And when you use the word legacy, when I take my last breath, I want people to be able to say, she walked in her purpose and she made a difference in my life in one way or the other.
right, right. I one of the things that I look forward to, because I don't have fear of the ending of this part of the journey, because I know that I'm eternal. I don't have any fear about the ending of this journey whatsoever. But I look forward to being able to look at that retrospective and to see it in a whole nother light, to see the lives that we touched and we weren't even conscious of,
Yes.
you know?
That part.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Mhm.
So please share with the audience how they can connect with you so that they can, connect with you on social medias, get the
Sure.
CDs and all of that.
My music is streaming on all streaming platforms. It's under Tyler Scott Owens, and the name of the album is Gratitude. Um, It is available in some stores, but since CDs have taken a real hit in popularity, you can always write me um, or reach out to me on social media, and I will send you a copy if that's what you want, and I will autograph it. You
That's what
just
I want. So,
okay, all
so
right?
when we hang up, we'll make arrangements for that.
You and so you can reach out to me on my page on Facebook, which is Tyler Scott Owens. You can look me up there. You can reach me on Instagram at the number one man, MAN of faith.
I love
One
it.
man of faith. You can reach
One
me
man of faith.
and Facebook. I'm maxed out in friends under my Tyler Owens moniker, but my business page, Tyler Scott Owens, is unlimited, and you can reach out to me there, and I would be glad to hear from you.
Yes. And so before we depart, I want you to give one last piece of encouragement to someone who is struggling to embrace a heart of gratitude because they've been through so much in life. They sometimes feel like there's nothing I should be grateful for. I want you to help them understand that there is always something to be grateful for.
Yeah, that's an easy one. I can think of the times in my own life where death was so close that I could feel death's presence in the room. I know what it smells like. I know what it feels like. And here I sit with people who love me, people who support and undergird me in everything that I put my hands to. Here I sit with this opportunity to speak with this phenomenal woman of God. Here I am speaking to you in spite of those days where I was face to face with death.
Mm.
And Christ came that we might have life and have life more abundantly. So, having faced death, I've got nothing to be afraid of,
Yes.
and I've got everything to live for. Just being able to talk to you and encourage you wherever you are right now and assure you that if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, that if you keep bringing your best effort to every second of every moment of every day that you possibly can, and you keep believing that better is in front of you and not behind you, things will turn around.
Mm.
Be
Yes.
grateful for the life in your body because it is the magic of God.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of everyone out there that will see this tomorrow, that will see this next week, next month, next year, to those who are present tonight to receive it firsthand. I say thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for pushing forward because people don't understand the challenges of life. I understand when you said the dark place because I was there many times. They don't understand that. And for us to still be here in spite of the dark moments that could have taken us out,
Yes.
we're here. We have something to be grateful for.
Yes, we do. And God has not allowed the challenges in your life to destroy you.
Yes.
They're actually making you.
Yes. We're constantly
Yes,
becoming a
we are.
better version of ourselves on this purposeful journey if we
Yes,
embrace it. And
yes.
so again, I say thank you. I say thank you to the audience. They have enjoyed this. So many wonderful comments from the people. I just love when they are engaging and sharing their thoughts and views. So I hope that they will reach out to you just like I will. And I still love a CD because I still have a CD player. So I am going to request
Cool, you got it.
I'm going to request the CD. So I just say thank you again. You have an amazing rest of your evening, and your journey continues to be a light to those that come before you, come after you, in between. That God blesses you and continues to promote you on this journey
Thank you.
called
Thank you.
life. Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Have a
And
wonderful evening.
you too. Bye
Go
bye
ahead
now.
and say it. Did you have the last something you wanted to say?
I just wanted to just encourage you once more, to just walk by faith, not by sight.
Thank
Make
you.
the determination, that I'm going to live, not die.
That's right. And I don't know if you know, my ministry is called Life After the Rain.
I
And
love
so it's my widow and widowers ministry is Life After the Rain. And so I encourage everyone that's in my group, there's life after the rain. We can't stop the rain, but we certainly can live after it.
I don't even want to stop the rain because the rain makes the flowers grow.
Say it. So you have a wonderful evening, and peace and blessings, as my friend Chris Ann said. And thank you guys for joining in and chiming in. Great comments. We really appreciate that. So
Thank
blessings to you all too. Take care, Tyler.
Bye-bye now.
I'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right, dear.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you all for watching. Have an amazing evening. Remember, I love you, but God loves you most, and he loves you best. Peace, love, joy today and always. Again, thank you for watching. Take care. Yes. Take care, my beautiful friends.